I want to play this for you guys because I think this is worthy of hearing for folks who are filtering in. Once again, this man is someone I would rather not have a conversation about, but he keeps talking, folks. I understand we are either anticipating a red wave or we're anticipating a blue wave. And that's what we should be talking about. As anyone would tell you, this is the most consequential election in our lifetimes. And it's a midterms. It's not even a national election, but this is a very consequential election. However, I can't stop talking about this guy, and he's not a politician, simply because he won't stop talking. And I invite you guys to tap the screen. As always, you know my favorite is MAGA. Bring me some more MAGA into the room. But I got to play this because I want you guys to hear it, and I want to get your opinion on it. It's Kanye.
That the idea of it made us feel good together as a person, as a people, right? When let me say it so the soundbite is better for you guys. When the idea of Black Lives Matter came out, it made us come together as a people. Now afterwards, yes, there were some things where the money went. There were some things where it was used in order to push us to the Democratic vote. There were people behind it involved. That happened, but the general feeling. So when I said that, and I questioned the death of George Floyd, it hurt my people. It hurt the black people. So I want to apologize to hurting them, because right now God has shown me by what Adidas is doing and by what the media is doing, I know how it feels to have a knee on my neck now.
Okay.
So
Kanye West is suggesting what has happened to him has opened his eyes, and now he knows what it feels like to have a knee on his neck. Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot. You're talking about a guy that was worth $2 billion suggesting that he knows what it's like to have a knee on his neck. Now, I'm not even going to play the rest of it because he also compares himself to Emmett Till. Anyone who knows what happened to Emmett Till, allegedly whistling at a white woman, which apparently was made up, beaten to a pulp by some white guys, thrown in the river, and his bloated body was premiered at an open casket. Kanye West is comparing himself to two of the most well-known murdered African Americans in literally spanning generations. $2 billion. And because they would not let him criticize the J people and African Americans, he is comparing that to having a knee on his neck. Where the hell does this even come from? Some of the last words said by George Floyd was, "I can't breathe." Kanye West is comparing himself to having a knee on his neck. If he couldn't breathe, somehow he was able to inhale and exhale $2 billion. How does it look for this guy to be comparing himself to someone who was killed in such a brutal manner after saying he died of fentanyl abuse? Why can't this guy stop talking? I would rather be talking about a red wave. I would rather be hoping for a blue wave. We can criticize Trump. We can talk about Biden, whatever the case may be. But it's hard to stop talking about this guy when he won't stop talking. And he says some of the most controversial shit. Appreciate that, I got. Appreciate that, hat and mustache. It's hard to ignore this guy when he says some of the most outrageous statements you'll ever hear. Now, in regards to the comments, Josie, you're saying Kanye is mentally ill. Maybe so, but at some point, if someone is attacking you and they're mentally ill, at some point you got to start holding them accountable for what's happening to you. This guy won't shut up. He won't shut up, and I understand A lot of my folks on the right, my beloved MAGA audience, so you're always welcome in the box. I never ban, censor, or block you for what you have to say. I understand folks on the right love free speech. I'm a liberal. I make it clear that the biggest issue with the program you're on right now is that I defend free speech. The fact that you may disagree with the host doesn't mean a damn thing. I'm in favor of free speech. However, it comes with consequences, folks. Kanye West has the right to say whatever the hell he wants. That is his First Amendment right. But the businesses, the business partners he has, customers, they also have a right. They have a right to use their pocketbooks and leave him alone. So if you want to defend a person's right, you can't defend Kanye and then slam all of these other folks who don't want nothing to do with him. How many of you were in favor, and you know who I'm talking to, you know who the hell I'm talking to, how many of you were in favor of canceling Colin Kaepernick? He also is entitled to First Amendment free speech rights. You didn't want to hear what he had to say. Maybe you didn't like him saying it during the game or whatever the case may be, but he had a right to say what he wanted to say. And once again, the right had no problem canceling him. So understand that cancel culture takes place on both sides of the aisle. It's not something that only the left does. Hell, how many folks, talking about my MAGA folks once again, how many folks in your own party you've canceled just for being critical of Trump? You can't, if you are a Republican, you don't have free speech rights when it comes to criticizing Trump. You see how folks are defending Kanye, attacking the J people, holding Black Lives Matter accountable? Show me a Republican that has criticized Trump or tried to hold MAGA accountable that hasn't been canceled by MAGA. I'm just simply saying, if you want to call a spade, do it no matter who's dealing the cards. Call a strike no matter who's up to bat. Don't pretend like my side doesn't do this if you're a liberal, or my side doesn't do this if you're conservative. Both sides do this shit. And I'm giving you clear-cut examples. Looking in the comments, I didn't pay too much attention to Kaepernick or Kanye. You listen or you don't, simple. Gerald, and that's probably the best way to go in some cases, but being candid, I am a news nut. I often follow the news trends and things like that are going on. And during his time, Kanye was all over the news. I mean, if you got the president of the United States literally going from city to city to city criticizing you, it's hard not to hear that if you follow the news. And make no mistake about it, Trump was incredibly critical of Colin Kaepernick. So Kanye West is doing the same thing now. Fortunately, Joe Biden is not doing to Kanye West what Colin Kaepernick had done to him by Trump. Joe Biden doesn't engage in that behavior to that level. I understand he had the anti-MAGA speech, but you're not going to see Joe Biden going from city to city to city just attacking some individual. He doesn't like MAGA. I think we're pretty clear on that. He doesn't like MAGA, but he's not attacking individuals. Looking in the comments, Biden is the worst, says Janae. 245. The worst what? Are you suggesting that Biden is the worst president in history? I hope you're not, but let me know in the comments. You're entitled to your statement. I'll be glad to respond to that. Mixed Stew. Yep, if an R denounces Trump, they will be shut down for not supporting him. Exactly. Just look at what Trump is doing right now. Trump is campaigning for a hell of a lot of Republicans going into the midterms, which is what he's supposed to do. That's an accolade to Trump. He's supposed to do that. But notice the ones that do not believe the election was stolen, the ones that have criticized him, he's not campaigning for him. Doesn't give a shit if you're Republican or not. If you don't believe the election was stolen, he's not showing up. Governor Kemp in Georgia. Even Ron DeSantis. He's not down there really running any stump speeches for Ron DeSantis. Fortunately for DeSantis, he probably doesn't need Trump in Florida. But I would submit to you that DeSantis has taken off to a level that President Trump may not be happy with. Am I sowing dissension falsely? We'll see. If I'm sowing this in the wrong manner, I'll have plenty of guests on. I'll be willing to concede and eat crow where that is necessary. However, there are rumors that Trump has already stated that I made this guy. So I don't believe that President Trump is very happy at how fast Ron DeSantis is growing within the Republican Party. But we will see. If they team up, could be a hell of a team. If they're fighting, it will be a hell of a fight in 2024. Going to the box. We'll start with Janae. 5. Good evening. Saw you in the comments. Welcome to the program. What's on your mind this afternoon?
Hello, my friend. We've spoken before. How
Yes,
are you?
I'm
Yeah,
doing
you did
good.
see
I'm
me in the
doing good.
comments. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 110%. We're just as guilty as the left. What I do see a lot more of, and it's probably because when I'm in any kind of live, it's going on, is the mudslinging. I mean, they call me names like there's no tomorrow. I don't see that in the Republicans' lives. Yeah, we'll yell, we'll scream, we'll get our point across, but we're not calling them the kind of names that I get called are crazy. And I think that's
Um,
wrong. It's
well,
wrong on both sides. Hold
it
on. It's
is.
wrong on
It
both
is.
sides.
It is.
Period. But I
I
agree
agree.
with you.
Fair enough. I will tell you this as an individual who likes to debate. Sometimes when I'm not hosting a live, I will go into other lives, and generally I go into right wing lives. MAGA just attracts me. I like talking to MAGA. I believe they get the short end of the stick from the media, so I'm always happy to talk to folks who identify as MAGA. However, I disagree with the notion that you don't get the mudslinging to the same degree. I used to have videos on my page, and I would tell you this. I hate to bring race into it, but you
Mm.
might be more correct when you're talking about white folks that are MAGA. When I go to black African American Republicans, they are horribly insulting. It's almost
Really?
as if it's almost as if being a black Republican, your calling card is you must insult other black liberals and black people. The white Republicans I talk to, this is just my own personal experience. So I'm not
Right.
saying that maybe someone else has experienced something different. But from
Right.
what I've seen, black Republicans are horribly critical of other blacks that do not identify as Republican. I mean, Candace
Mm.
Owens is a perfect example. Larry Elders, Kanye West. I mean, all of the stuff they're saying is predominantly criticism. It's not about being
Well,
pro-life or some of the
I
other
know.
tenets, pro-Christianity. It's anti-black.
Well, and it's the same way, honestly, handsome. It's the same way on both sides because, knowledge is king. Knowledge is king. And I go to CNN, I watch all the news channels. They're all saying the same thing about Trump. It just, the mudslinging's got to stop. I mean, we need to unite. I
Yeah.
get on these things. I do my best. I'm not a good debater, never have been. I would never say I am. But I do know facts when it comes to child trafficking. There's certain things I'm really good at debating. But when it comes to Trump, I'm not going to defend the guy if he's guilty of anything. Are you kidding me? And that's one thing I do see with the Republicans that we definitely, and I'm a conservative, but when I'm on their lives, I see them. They'll call him out. I don't see that on Democrats. Every now and then I'll see something like that, but no one ever talks about Biden. Why?
Okay.
Why they?
I,
Trump's mouth.
I do hear all the time. I get liberals all the time that suggest that I am a hidden, a closeted conservative because I am critical of
I
MAGA,
believe it
or
too.
critical
I
of Biden
believe it.
rather. Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
critical of Biden. But I will ask you this in regards to you saying you don't see you see Republicans calling out Trump. I guess the first thing I would ask you is
You mean Democrats?
yeah, but you said when you're on conservative lives,
Oh yeah,
as
they call
opposed to
out Trump in a
yeah, you
heartbeat.
said that
They
the
say if he's
Democrats
guilty.
don't call out
Mm-hmm.
Biden, but the Republicans call out Trump. Did I get
Well,
that
not all
correct?
the time. Let me clarify that. I apologize. Sometimes when I'll go on, well, not the majority of the time when I'm on Democrat sites, they're always talking about Trump. It's like, dude, get off his jock already. He's not president anymore. For Pete's
Yeah.
sake, let's talk about what's going on right now in the world. We don't have to talk about Biden, but what's going on right now in the world is scary, handsome.
Well,
It's
wait a
like,
minute.
come on.
Okay, I got two responses. First off, if you're in conservative lives and they're calling out Trump, I strongly believe there is a difference between Republicans and conservatives in MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans and conservatives believe in small government,
Yes.
pro Christianity, pro life, and the
Mm-hmm.
Republican tenets.
Mm-hmm.
MAGA believes in Trump. If Trump follows the same Republican line of small government, low spending and things, they're okay with that. But if Trump changes his mind tomorrow and goes in a different direction, MAGA will follow him. So there is a difference between Republicans and MAGA. If you're in a MAGA live, they're not holding Trump accountable. I would have a hard time seeing that. So if you're
I
seeing
haven't.
people holding Trump accountable, those are right wingers. They're not MAGA.
Yeah, well, I'm mega, and that I'm still conservative. I'm 100% behind a lot of his policies. Do I
Mhm.
really want him to run again? I don't know. Would I vote for him or DeSantis? To be honest with you, I'd probably end up voting for DeSantis, and usually I don't let that out. You know, I like I really like Trump's policies. I cringed when the man got up on the podium. I get it. His insults and his slings and what he says about people are horrible.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, so are Biden's. So,
Well, but
it's
let's
just,
go with what
it's
you let's
gross.
let's go with what you started out by saying, and you were saying that we need to unite as a country.
We sure
Would you
do.
not agree that unity starts from the top?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%, babe.
All right.
100%. It goes from the top. You know how they like to say the trickle down effect? I hate that.
Right.
But that's pretty much what we really all need to do. Instead of slinging all these mudslinging and all these comments, she's stupid, she's dumb, she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's like, are you kidding me? You have
Well, but then
nothing
you
better
got
to
to get
do.
past if you feel that way, then you got to get past all of that. He just talks like a typical New Yorker type stuff. When you guys are championing that, now clearly you believe Biden's the wrong guy. So
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna challenge
don't
you.
even,
Obviously
yeah,
you believe Biden is the wrong guy. That's fine. But when
yeah.
folks are saying that Trump talks like a typical New Yorker or he's not a typical politician, isn't that kind of like making excuses for division?
Not at all. He's a businessman. That's what I like about him. He's not a politician. Every politician I've ever come across, trust me, I've met a lot, handsome. They're all dirty. And what's going on in the government right now, if you actually dig real deep, and I'm not talking Google, talking, what's that, DuckDuckGo? I'm talking go to sites because it's disgusting what's going on. People just see the outside, and all they're watching is the media. And the
Yeah,
media
but
is wrong, and that's all I'm
I
going
don't
to
think you
say.
get what I don't think you get what I'm asking you. I'm asking you,
Oh, sorry.
are you suggesting that being a businessman requires you to cuss people out and give people nicknames? You're telling me no successful businessman has ever been able to be successful without doing that?
Are you talking about Trump? Well, he's obviously
Yeah, I asked
successful.
you.
He's
I asked you.
obviously, I'm not Q, by the way, I'm not Q. I don't have anything to do with Q. Um, he's not successful because he's obviously handsome, successful because he's doing something right. He's the
Yeah,
first,
but
hang
there
tight,
are plenty of successful businessmen, business people who have not cursed people out and said all kinds of horrible things. If you ever bought a house, when you were purchasing your home, did the realtor cuss you out while showing you the property?
come
I
on, he
mean,
doesn't
you
do
can
that.
do business.
Hang on, let me defend him in this sense. I'm going to defend him big time, and I'm going to sound mega right now. You're going to roll your eyeballs. I know what's going to happen. Okay,
Okay, you're welcome.
I've
Let me
I've
have it.
known
Let me have it.
I no, I would never do that. I've known Trump for a long time, not personally. I've known him for a long time. Followed him, very successful. People love him. Loved, loved, loved,
Okay.
loved. Once he decided to run for president and said, "I'm going to be the Republican Party," and want nothing to do. They tried to buy him out. They tried. Democrats didn't want him to run because he knows where all the skeletons are hidden. From day one, okay, when he walked into that office, there was so much mudslinging coming his way. And a person can only take so much. He never attacked people. He's attacking government. He's attacking politicians. He's attacking people that are attacking him. Now, is it good for tit for tat? No. I would hope I wouldn't be that way. But if I had mudslinging my way for 2 years, you bet I'd be a little
Okay,
aggressive.
now let me interject. And by the way, folks, tap the screen. Like I said, this is a MAGA friendly room. Don't ban, block, or censor you. The fact that you disagree with the host never means a damn thing. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Get your boy up to 10,000 likes. In response to what you're saying, the mudslinging and things like that, do
Hmm.
you believe that Trump suggesting that Barack Obama was born in Kenya, does that count as mudslinging?
That's dirty. That's dirty. He
Is it
obviously knows. Like
mudslinging?
I
Is
said,
it
well,
mudslinging?
yeah, and yeah, that is, but I'm explaining to you, handsome. I hope I'm explaining this right. The whole purpose behind Trump running was to open up people's eyes. Okay, I'll tell you right now. I've been a conservative all my life. That's just because my family, we're conservatives. My dad was Republican. I did vote for Obama the first term. Found out I didn't like him. Okay. So I will vote for a Democrat if I honestly feel that or they're
Okay,
doing a better job.
but let me interrupt you. Why did he spend multiple years saying that Barack Obama was born in Kenya? What was the purpose of that? Because you're saying that when he got in
Okay.
office, no one gave Trump. You said no
You're
one
not gonna
gave
like
Trump a
this.
chance from day
You're
one.
not gonna like this.
Oh, hold
Okay,
on.
sorry.
Okay, let me have it. What
You're
you
just
got?
not
What you
gonna
got?
like it. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again. He knows all I'm gonna say to you, handsome, and it's the truth. He knows where the skeletons are buried. So far, I'll be honest with you, hang on. Someone said she says hang on a lot. I'm sorry, I
We're
do.
talking about Barack Obama being
He
born in Kenya. Is that a skeleton?
I don't know. I do know there's dirt behind that. And where there's smoke, there's what is that saying? Where there's fire, there's smoke, or smoke, there's fire. I could be
Okay,
saying it wrong.
let me focus in.
Everything
Hang
he
on. Let
said.
me focus in. I'm gonna
Okay.
ask you specifically. Do you believe Obama was born in America?
No.
Okay, that's what we're trying to find out. All right, keep going.
Um, and there are so many things, and I know people think it's Q. It has nothing to do with that. Actually, I've really never searched Q. But when it is kind of in code, I guess you can say in a weird way. When Trump talks, he's talking in code. A lot of us know it's not Q, but we understand it. He's opened
Talking
up
in
a lot of.
code. Talking in
Hang
code. You've been
on.
hanging around Nancy
He,
Pelosi's husband. What do you mean talking in code?
it's just it's weird. We found out so much. Dig deep. That's all I'm going to say. Do some research.
Okay. All right.
When it comes to government, and I'm talking both sides. I am not just talking about the Democrats. It is dirty. It's
All right.
disgusting. And I just looked up. Honestly, I just looked up. Actually, let me say this. I'll give Trump a compliment. I do love Trump. I do like him, but I'll give him a compliment. This is one
Go
thing that
ahead. I gotta move it on, but I'll give you a chance to get Trump a compliment. Go ahead.
this is one thing that I really loved about him. JFK is the only other president that did this. President Trump gave his whole entire salary to charity for 4 years. I don't know of one other president other than JFK that's ever done that.
Okay.
President Trump, when he left office with less money than he went in with. He didn't do this just for the heck of it. What guy, if you think about it, he's what, 79? Or I don't know, 78? What 78-year-old that's a billionaire would go in and fight for America like this? Who would do that? He should be off golfing. He's doing it for a reason. People don't realize that. And that's all I need
Okay.
to say about Trump. Other than
All
that,
right.
I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I just wanted to come in and
Good
say,
conversation. You know how it works. Come on back through anytime.
all right, love, you take care. Thank
Appreciate it.
you. Bye.
Absolutely. In regards to, I just wanted to point out a few things. I'll go back to the comments. And by the way, folks, follow the program. This is what we do here. I appreciate you tapping the screen, getting the boy likes up. Shout out to you, and plenty of patriots in here, obviously, and liberals alike. In regards to Trump not taking his salary, apparently that happened, but there are also allegations that he had the Secret Service and foreign dignitaries staying at his properties and was overcharging them. The salary of the commander-in-chief is about $400,000 a year. If you have dignitaries staying at your property and I believe they said he was charging the Secret Service 5 times the amount to stay at his properties. You could easily make that money up. And the salary you didn't take and donated to charities, it's a tax write-off. Come on now, I just want to make sure we be fair about this. Not taking the salary sounds great if you're somebody who walked in like Obama, who was not making a lot of money before becoming president. But when you're worth $10 billion, as Trump said, okay, he didn't take a $500,000 salary for 4 years. That's $2 million. If he's worth $10 billion, as he says, that means he's claiming to be worth $10 10,000 million. So if you put $1 million on the ground, he's worth 10,000 pounds of that. So he didn't take 2 million salary while president. I appreciate the fact that it's the sentiment of it, but I'm just pointing out if there is a phrase of being a drop in the bucket, that is that. And real quick, her comment about Barack Obama, whether he was born in the country or not. Fair enough. But make no mistake about it, once Trump became the Republican leader going into the 2016 election, he is on video saying Trump is born in America. So if what she said is right, and that Obama was not born here, then we have to ask the question, then why did Trump later lie and say he is born here? One way or another, it doesn't look right. Going back to the box, Lyric 2-1.
Oh,
Good afternoon, Lyric. How you doing?
I'm not gonna keep you long. But how you doing?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
Why do every time I come in your live, it's always after that same lady? I come in after her. That same lady. And she say the same thing every single time. I don't hear the MAGAs and the Republican Party that's on TikTok talking about the liberals, talking about the far left. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you for a fact, they would not let a person like me in their life, and that's the truth. They do not.
Yeah. Well, you know, I will agree. And like I tried to tell her is that me personally, I can't speak for everybody, but I've been in right-wing lives, and it is the African Americans, in my opinion. You start talking to a black Republican,
Yes.
they are very critical. I mean, it's like it's like putting another fish in a tank with an African cichlid. I mean, they don't get along with nobody. So I don't know what it is.
And they would kick you out in a second.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, for about 2 or 3 months, I had my first video on my profile featured me being in a Republican live and another black guy named Snacks cussing me out. Did not want me to talk. Yeah. So I understand that.
Yes. So that's true. So anyway, back to the Kanye West thing. I watched this because I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna stitch the video today. So now he's coming over to the black side. After
he's everywhere.
Exactly. So now he's like, I feel how George Floyd felt with his knee on the back of his neck. But that's not what you said a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Somebody just need to sit down and tell a guy, listen, it ain't about stifling your free speech. It's that you're all over the place and you're not helping yourself out at all. Because in my opinion, the more he tries to explain that shit, or the more I get right wingers defending him, it just makes it look worse. I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel for that stuff.
I will tell you what it is, because when I did my video last week, and I had a lot of people coming at me that is his supporter, and like I told him, Adidas didn't need Kanye. Adidas been around since 73 years. They don't need Kanye.
Well, I won't say that. They definitely been, I mean, he would have been responsible for creating a lot of jobs, raising their stock up. It's like saying Nike didn't need Jordan. I mean, yeah, it was around before him, but yeah, he's made Adidas a far stronger company.
My thing is, Adidas have soccer. They are far more powerful with that money over in Europe and those other countries, because soccer's a big thing over there. They call it football. Mm-hmm. So they don't need Kanye. So, but when I put that on there, like people like Adidas, they first endorsement to hip hop was Run DMC, my Adidas.
Yeah,
that was their first endorsement to hip hop. So they didn't need. So now, since he losing money, now he feel like somebody stomping on his neck, because you just lost $1.8 billion in endorsement. Now you down to $400 million. So that's not lawsuits that's coming after him. So so why apologize now? Stick by your guns. Don't apologize. Stick by your guns.
I mean, at this point, you might as well stick by your guns, because nobody's going to accept apology. I mean, it wasn't like he made one bad statement, said he was sorry. Kind of like Will Smith, you did one thing and you apologize. He's in his apologies. He's continued to double down. I mean, he's about at quadruple stage now. Finally coming out, I'm sorry. I mean, he took about a good solid 3 or 4 months and just tore his legacy up. I don't know if anybody would even forgive him at this point.
Yeah, so then my thing is like with Kanye is this. So now he understands how it feels when the media and everybody else are coming at you to be black now, because you wasn't black before. Now you understand.
Well, I don't know. If he went to a Trump rally, he would get a lot of love right now.
Exactly, a lot of love, a lot.
Yeah.
Like I
So
told
I don't know if he's being I don't know if he's being mistreated because he's black. I think he's being mistreated because he attacked Jewish people. He could have attacked black people all day long and been all right. But when he started messing with Jewish people, it was over with.
Exactly. That's it. That is it. That's over with. And like I told one of the lady last week, I said, imagine Michael Jordan would did that to Nike. If he would have said, I don't need Nike, Nike needs me. No, sometimes you gotta be a man. You know what? I'm gonna support my family, feed my family, and Nike. Whatever you guys want to do to endorse me, I'm behind you 100%. You know what? That opened other avenues such as Gatorade and Hanes.
Yeah.
So
yeah. To me, the statement about what he did to Adidas said, I can say anti-Semitic stuff and Adidas can't drop me now. What? That is such a call to of someone's bluff that you almost have to cut him. Because what he said is so egregious. He's basically telling you, I can literally do anything, and you guys have to kiss my ass so much that you can't leave me. Kind of like what Trump does about saying politicians got on their knees and all of that stuff. Like, you are begging people to hate you. Even if you believe the stuff he's saying about the J people, you have a right to believe that. But when he starts saying a company can't cancel him no matter what he does, who would maintain a relationship with somebody saying something like that?
right, just like Trump said, he thought he could be Trump when Trump said, I could choose someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue or Sixth Avenue, and nothing can happen. Don't call and you call people bluff. They're gonna like, you know what? We're gonna find some reason to come after you legally. We'll find something. We can dig and find something.
Well, he didn't make it. Yeah, he didn't make it hard at all. But listen, I'm gonna move it on, man. I 100% agree with you.
I don't want to keep
Absolutely. Good talk. Good talk, though.
good talk.
Okay, look. Hey, come on back anytime. Looking in the comments here, you are filtering in. I appreciate you tapping your screen. But what the hell are we talking about?
There was some things where the money went. There were some things where it was used in order to push us to the Democratic
Talking about Black
vote.
Lives Matter.
There were people behind it involved. That happened, but the general feeling. So when I said that, and I questioned the death of George Floyd, it hurt my people. It hurt the black people. So I want to apologize to hurting them, because right now God has shown me by what Adidas is doing and by what the media is doing, I know how it feels to have a knee on my neck now.
He knows how it feels. He's worth $400 million. George Floyd was reportedly passing a fake $20 bill. So George Floyd does not know what $400 million even looks like. He's telling me, us, the public, the folks who are filming him, that he knows what it's like to have a knee on his neck. Is that not insulting to the family? Is that not insulting to the black community? Like I said before, even if you believe what he said about the J people, what he said about African Americans, even if you think all of that is accurate, what the hell does this got to do with that? He knows how it feels to have a knee on his neck? You know how many people get canceled and punished and criticized for what the hell they have said and don't say something dumb like that? I mean, let me go to the box. I want to hear what you guys got to say. Gangsta G-Ma. Hey, Kanye West.
Kanye West is a raccoon. He is a dirty raccoon that thought he was going to slide on Adidas and call Adidas bluff, and Adidas showed his little ass real quick.
Well, what about Jimmy Fats in the comments? He says we're missing a point. What point could we be missing? Let's just speculate. I mean, is there something maybe we're not viewing it right?
What are we missing? That he's a raccoon and he like the white lives matter and stuff, and then he went all for the white people. Now he needs the black people. Cause why? Cause they are slamming him down. Except for the MAGA, MAGA, they just far up the raccoons because they think he's special. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But Adidas showed him, I'm not white.
Well, I mean, do you think that, because obviously I support free speech. And I'm assuming you believe a person should be entitled to free speech, correct?
Oh, you okay? See, there's a definition of free speech, but there's
Okay.
consequences to the free speech. Like he thought he would had it. Oh my gosh, I got all this free speech, but you got consequences behind it.
Yeah, I
You know
agree
what I
with
mean?
that.
You
I,
got
and
consequences
that's the
behind it.
Yeah, that's the point I make as well, is that you are entitled to say whatever the hell you want, but you're not entitled to tell someone how they must receive it. So if
That's
you
right.
want to, yeah, you can call me any name you want to, but that doesn't mean I have to sit beside you and continue talking to you. I'm entitled also to respond against what you're saying and isolate myself from you, maybe respond back with something unkind as well, whatever the case may be. But you can't dictate how someone responds to your comment. So the knee on his neck, though,
That was
you
an
do,
insult. That's an,
yeah.
for one, he doesn't even know what he's talking about and need to. Oh my God, he's white. No offense, he is a raccoon. He has never been like that. He doesn't know what real life is like that. Oh my God, I lost. Well, how much? He was $1 billion, and he got now he's at 400 million. What?
You said
That
he's
man
white.
died for $20.
Did you say Kanye West is white?
Yes, he is. You got to admit this. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
well, he
He
does.
sure ain't black. He sure ain't black because he. Come on now.
Okay, well, listen, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and so did Kanye West. We viewed him as one of our own. I mean,
He
the
used to
neighborhood.
be. He
Well,
used to be. Till he started messing with the Kardashians, and they did something to his Kool-Aid. They did
but
something to his damn Kool-Aid.
I don't see Ray J out there acting like that. Remember Ray J? I hit it first. He wasn't out there acting like that. And what's the basketball player, the one that got hooked on drugs and was hanging around one of them as well? He's not acting like that. I would say that Kanye West seems to be a unique case.
Kanye West is just Kanye West. Honest to God, after his mama passed, he lost his mind. And that's being
Yeah,
real. And that's just not, I'm not playing with that. After his mama died, he lost it because he used to be cool before his mama. And he used to rap good and everything. But now he lost it. He lost it. But then a lot of people are saying, oh, he gave back to his community and stuff. Where? Where did this man give back to his community? He has a private school. He's charging 15,000 or
yeah, I heard,
for
but
to
that
get
school
in.
apparently that school is no longer around as well. But
No,
I want you to hear something real quick. You in the audience. It's only about 30 seconds.
The straight white male has the least amount of a platform to even speak. A straight white male can't say, my wife hurt me today. And because people will say, well, you're hurting women. A straight white male can't say, hey, a black employee didn't come in to work on time, because then people will say you're racist. A straight white male can't speak on a homosexual person because they'll say you're homophobic.
So when you say that he's white, I kind of wonder if there's yeah, he does seem to be sympathetic to white causes. I guess I don't know.
he lost. I'm telling you, he lost his mind. It's all about the money. He called. He thought that Adidas was going to have his back. Adidas said no. Adidas does not need Kanye West. Adidas been along longer than Kanye West. So yeah, you feel what I'm saying? He just needs to shut his mouth up. He's digging himself deeper and deeper. You feel what I'm saying?
Is it possible though that he could? Because I've had callers on here that says that listen, the 24-hour news cycle is constantly churning, and I had a caller suggested in 6 months people will have forgotten about this, and Kanye West will be fine and will be right back in business. Can you see him coming back from this that quick?
No, he's not gonna come back. He messed with the wrong people. He messed with the J people. They
Yeah.
told him to shut up. You don't mess with them. They have more power than he does. And what did they say? You mess with them, they're gonna get you canceled. What did he do? He messed with them. And what is he at? He's being canceled. Oh, poor baby. Have some
Yeah.
napkins and wipe your tears.
I got to move it on, but before I do, how do you respond to people who say what Kanye West said about the J people is correct?
They wasn't correct. But hey, so power to them. That's the racist people saying that. That's the
Well,
racist people saying that. You know what I'm saying?
there's there's no
They just
shortage of people saying that. There's no shortage. But grandma, against the grandma, I gotta go.
you have a good one.
You too. Always good. Come on back through anytime. Okay. In the comments that they're also racist, just like what Gangsta G-Mon said. You're blind. Black swag. In what manner? I'm asking the opinions. Like I said, I'm here to talk to the folks. MAGA's my preferred guest. I'm getting liberals, but certainly patriots can come to the box. You guys know how we do it here. We don't ban, block, or censor at all. But what about Kanye saying that he now knows what it feels like to have a knee on his neck? You're talking about a guy worth hundreds of millions of dollars, at some point worth $2 billion, living a very lavish lifestyle. How could he know what it feels like to have a knee on his neck? A very lavish lifestyle. He's not only in the 1%, he's probably in the 0.5%. A knee on his neck? Really? Let me go to the comments. Mark time. Good afternoon, Mark time.
How you
Kanye
doing?
West, knee on the neck. Do you see any validity to that?
No, that's embarrassing. I can't. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised. I'm not. If it fits perfectly within the mold of this like modern conservative movement, conservative in air quotes, because there's nothing about limited government involved in just people crying about free speech.
Well, but okay, the stuff he said about the J folks, like I
Yep.
asked the previous caller,
Yep.
how do you respond to people saying that what he said is true, though?
That they're also racist. I was the one who commented that.
Oh, that was you. Okay. Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
I mean,
All
they're
right.
just
I
telling on
mean, 'cause-
themselves at this point. Like, if you're like, oh, they're all in the banking industry, or they're all in the entertainment industry, or something, or like, or the entertainment industry is run by them, or there's a, cabal of blood sucking, whatever. Like, essentially, you're just telling on yourself that you also hold these stereotypes and biases. So,
yeah. Well, my point on it is this. Let's say, because in that clip that I didn't play completely through, he points out how many industries are controlled by J executives. And I'm going to pretend like, he's right. I don't know. He knows a hell of a lot more about that than I do. However, I would point this out as a rebuttal. If you're going to say the J people control the news and media and the television industries and they're using their power to be corrupt, could you not say the same thing about Washington politics being controlled predominantly by straight white males? I mean, how
exactly.
many white male politicians have faced corruption charges? What's the difference? I mean,
Yeah,
seriously, one
exactly.
industry controlled by the J people, one industry controlled by straight white males. What's the difference?
You never hear that, the presidency is a conspiracy, run by straight white men for straight white men, just because 45 of them have been straight white men. Well, we don't know that they were straight. I should take that back. We have some thoughts about J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah. I would tell you, if you said what we just agreed on, that industry in Washington politics has predominantly been ran by straight white males since the beginning of the country, and that they've used their powers for evil the same way he's saying about the J people, the same folks defending him now would want nothing to do with him. And it's almost the same statement. It's just comparing a different industry.
Exactly, and that's the heart of the issue, right? Anytime you speak broadly and generalize an entire group of people, like you should be on that should throw up a red flag to you that you're like,
Yeah.
all Pizza Hut deliveries drivers are 5'3". Like you just can't have that much certainty about like an entire group of
Well,
people.
yeah. Well, here's the point I would make for folks in the audience that do believe what he said was correct and is not racist or not anti-Semitic. The problem is if you are a aspiring producer, director, film producer, or whatever, and you're Jewish and you're in school, because of what he said, it's likely to cost you customers and agents in the future because he's already deemed you as corrupt, as a money grubber. You haven't even got out of college and actually got into the career yet. But you got a prominent guy out there like him with a huge following that has already said that J people are corrupt. So when you get out there and try to get agents and customers, people are going to be thinking about what he said, and it could hurt you even if you are on the up and up and want to be fair with your clients. That is why it's racist or anti-Semitic.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have like commenters who are like, can't white people, this faceless commenter, can't a white guy just live their life? Like, yes, of course. You can do and say whatever you want. That's the issue. That I don't think we're getting to is conservatives say like white people can't even talk anymore or whatever. It's like, no, you can. And I know you were kind of talking about this
Yeah.
with the previous guest is like, no, you can say anything that you want. You're just going to catch heat for it. And that's the part that conservatives leave out is that, that's why they stop at white men can't talk anymore, which just isn't true.
Well, I gotta play devil's advocate. I'm not,
Sure, please.
obviously I'm disagreeing with the things that's coming out of Kanye's mouth, but I have said myself that there are things a woman can say, a Hispanic can say, a black person can say that if it comes from a white male, it will be held to a different account. I actually agree with that. Such as I can say white people don't season their food right or something like that on a television show. If you start seeing blacks eat watermelon or chicken or something like that, it is a difference in how it's viewed. Now I'm going to say obviously they're basing it on what happened in the past, but clearly white men can't jump, for instance. Fancy Prancy, I appreciate that. White men can't jump as a movie. Black
Yeah,
people
Woody
can't do
Harrelson.
this
I
or
got it.
that.
Yep.
You're not going to get away with that.
Yep. Okay, so if we're responding in kind to the devil's advocate, and
Sure.
people think this, like, so it's two things. It's motive, right? Like what's behind this,
Yeah.
and power. So what is behind it? And so, white people don't season their food. Like that is obviously like a benevolent. It's funny. It's in jest. But when you but when you're telling people like, flipping it the opposite way, like one, what is your motive behind that? What is your motive behind saying that Jays run the entertainment and banking industry? Are you oppressed by them? Like it's essentially just everything that it would be said after that, which is why conservatives
Yeah, I
don't
mean, I get what you're saying, but
appreciate
but
follow-up
I mean,
questions of like, why
yeah,
do you think
I
that?
mean, yeah, but people
Where
aren't
did
going
you
to
learn that?
define it like that. Yeah,
From
people aren't
movies
going
and
to go
TV?
into.
From like,
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. It may have a reasoning due to a historical precedent, but people are not going
right,
to look at it like that. Fact is, you
right.
can say something that I can't, and people are going to look at it based on that and that alone. Is that it's not right for you to be able to criticize me openly, but I can't criticize you without being deemed a racist. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like that's fair. That is a valid point.
So then that gets to the second part of it, which is power,
Sure.
which is who holds privilege, who is in places of power. Does somebody saying that to you do anything to you? Do they hold any power over you? And so if you have motive and power behind, like, J.K. Rowling's in a bunch of hot water, and part of her Harry Potter books, like, oh, the bankers, in the first movie, in the first book, are like squat little like trolls with giant noses, and they run the money, and they're like these like evil little things. And so like people were giving her shit about that because it's like, oh, what are you trying
Yeah.
to say? Like, why did you lean into these like obvious stereotypes? And again, I kind of just gets to the nature of you telling on yourself. Like, essentially,
Yeah.
to me, what I think like people like Kanye are doing with all this like anti-Semitic stuff. And Elon was on Twitter earlier, and he tweeted something stupid like, "So why am I still sad?" He bought a $44 billion company, and it's like, you are just like a child. Like, and what you're saying is, I want the free speech. I want to be allowed to be stupid out loud, like in public or on the internet. Like, and because, when people like Ron DeSantis talk, or when people like Trump talk, they're like, people are like, oh, it's just a mean tweets or whatever. It's no, the things that you say are an issue because, again, of motive and privilege. Why are you putting this out
Yeah.
there? And when people correct you and tell you you're wrong, they're like, oh, now I'm being canceled. It's just
Yeah.
essentially they want they want
Well, I
they
think
want
in
the
regards to
right
Elon
to.
Musk, yeah, in regards to Elon Musk, I think Elon Musk is smart enough to realize that that was a bad decision. What he's going to end up doing is turning Twitter into MySpace, is because people are going to He's going to start
Right.
having a lot of members losing their jobs and shit like that because I've had reports
Yeah.
on my little tiny social media page of people saying that folks have already started turning their profile pictures into swastikas and playing
Yep.
hoods and
Using
things
the
like
N
that because
word.
they got
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
what's going to end up happening is people are going to be losing their jobs and nobody's going to want to advertise on that. And I think he realizes that he was pissed off about people being censored, used
yep.
his money to buy something that is going to be a losing battle, and he spent 44 billion on it. That shit's going that account, that social media platform
Mm-hmm.
is going to take a hit. It's
Oh,
going to
for
take a
sure.
hit if all that's going on
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, he bought
So
a
that actually,
MySpace.
yeah, that actually leans into my point perfectly, which is like they want, when they cry about free speech, they're saying, I want to be able to say whatever I think with no consequences.
Yep.
That's what Ron DeSantis wants. That's what Trump wants. That's what white conservative men want. They want the ability to be loudly ignorant and to have nobody check them. That is, it's essentially the divide in America, right? Is people on the left want to help people, want to want to house the homeless, want to cut your student loans, want to tax the rich, and conservatives want to be ignorant openly and for free.
Well, we could go into a whole. I don't know if I believe all of it, but we'll have to talk about that. And I got to move it on, but yeah, we could discuss that for an hour or so. But Mark Time, appreciate you
Yeah,
coming through.
appreciate it, Tim. Peace.
All right. Okay, looking in the comments real quick. Somebody said, "How much money do you want to bet that Twitter does not go down?" I didn't see it, but yeah, I listen. I strongly believe that here's what's going to happen. And you can tell me if you believe I'm wrong. You can come in the box, and I'll go right back to the box in a minute. But I believe that the type of stuff that can arrive when you allow complete free speech to hate the Nancy Pelosi's husband thing, where everybody's saying it didn't happen, or the Cincinnati FBI attack on the office there, that type of shit. When you allow people to speak and organize like that, what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up getting congressional oversight where Congress is going to intervene. What the hell am I talking about? Well, the media, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and all of that, they are held accountable by the federal government for shit they say. That same type of oversight does not exist online, even though the audience of people viewing shit online is considerably larger and it is worldwide. In America, I would submit to you that Elon Musk, what he's doing, is probably going to lead to that. Now with Nancy Pelosi's husband being attacked, I would say it probably wouldn't be hard to start getting more Congress people to think that maybe we might be in danger. I mean, there are some wild liberals out there too. I'm not going to pretend like only Republicans or MAGA's capable of doing that shit. So if you got all 250 plus Congress people in a room and they all realize this could happen to any of us, we need to stop this shit from festering online. Number one, if you make a comment online, it should be really easy for the authorities to find out who you are. You should have some type of ID attached to any profile you use. Get rid of that bullshit and anonymity where you can say anything. I believe congressional oversight is coming, but maybe I'm wrong. Going back to the box. Big Harry Souza, good afternoon. The program. Big Harry, what's up?
Just living my life, feeling blessed, working a lot.
Feeling like you had a knee on your neck?
No.
Okay. What do you think about Kanye West suggesting that he now knows what it feels like to have a knee on his neck? Do you think that was disrespectful at all to the family of George Floyd?
Of course.
Okay.
For him to know what it's like to have a knee on his neck, he would not be able to say that.
Damn. That is an excellent. That's an excellent way to put it. Yeah, if you had a knee on your neck, you wouldn't be saying it right now. Your mom will be picking you up off the ground or something. Yeah. So, why do you think so many folks on the right, and I'm talking about my beloved MAGA folks, why do you think so many of them are supporting Kanye right now, saying that what he said was true? All of this. They're very, very favorable of what he's saying right now. Why is there such a divide on how folks on the left see him versus folks on the right?
Well, that's a very big question with a very nuanced answer. But, if we want to pin it down on one thing, I think you could attribute a vast majority of the normalization of anti-Semitism today to Q. And Q is an inherently right-wing thing. I mean, anti-Semitism is an inherently right-wing thing. Sure, there's anti-Semitism everywhere, but
there's no denying that Q is right wing, but I didn't know anti-Semitism was. I mean, I don't follow Q. I get
all right.
callers on here that
So let me tell you, and full disclosure, I'm Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish. I'm an atheist as well. It's an ethno-religion. You don't have to be practicing to be a member of this community.
I've never heard that before.
It's actually a really common thing, and within the Reform movement, you can be a fully fledged member of a temple. And by the way, the Reform movement is the largest sect of Judaism. And you can be agnostic, atheist. There are agnostic atheists in the Reform movement. I think, Reform Judaism is, out of all the major religions, far from the worst one. And a far cry from, Orthodox Judaism.
All right. So you're Jewish, but you don't
let me explain to you why Q is inherently anti-Semitic.
Sure, go ahead.
Probably the most famous piece of anti-Semitic literature is the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which is where you get blood libel, accusing Jewish people of stealing Christian babies and drinking their blood. Now,
wait. That's where that comes from.
Yes.
The whole Hillary Clinton. Wow.
So anytime you hear about a secret cabal, adrenochrome, they're killing babies. This is all inherently anti-Semitic because it relies on this centuries-old lie that Jewish people drink the blood of Christian people.
Okay, so, I mean, I hate to ask you to do this considering you're Jewish, but refer to it as J people. I don't want the damn censors here I don't ban for anything, but the damn app does. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I can 100% make that amendment in how I talk.
Sure.
So when this whole movement, the Q movement, relies on the fact that there is a secret cabal of people controlling the world, which is the exact same story and narrative of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. And, for the Jewish community, this has been...
J people.
For J people. For J people, the past few years have been really scary, seeing the rise of Q, because this didn't just appear in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion and then disappear. It reemerged in Schnazi propaganda.
So this is sounding like 1930s Germany to you guys.
It's a lot of the same narratives, and they're saying the same things. And I think one of the things that I've been hearing lately is that a lot of Shoah survivors recount how quickly their neighbors had turned on them. That was that's a big part of that whole narrative that gets left out.
Wow.
And it's powerful propaganda. I mean, it's very easy to blame this very tiny ethno-religion on all these things, right?
Let me interrupt you for a second. If you don't believe in God, how can a person tell you are a J person? Do you wear a yarmulke? I mean, how can a person even tell you're J?
First off, you could look at the bags under my eyes, which actually was a technique that the Schnazis used to identify Jewish people. You can take a DNA test. J people. Sorry, I know. You can identify J people with a DNA test. If I took a DNA test, it would say that I am Ashkenazi.
But nobody who's being anti-Semitic to you on a subway car or at a job interview is going to take a DNA test. I'm talking about how can we look at you and tell that?
Well, you can't, because assimilation is safety for a lot of J people.
Okay.
A lot of J people. Ever seen that movie Everything Is Illuminated? It's about a
No,
family of J people who did not know that they were J people, or they were hiding it the whole movie. And this is
no,
not an uncommon occurrence.
okay. This is all new to me. I mean, I got to move it on, unfortunately, but you're someone I would like to talk to more in depth. Actually, I mean, if you see me on, come back. 'Cause we talk all the time. By the way, in fact, we've spoken numerous times. But I would like to talk to you more about this in detail. I just don't have the time right now.
Yeah, and
Because
if I
yeah,
highly encourage you to check out what was in the protocols of the Elders of Zion, what the Schnazi propagandists were saying about J people to justify the crimes against them, and what Kanye is saying about J people right now, insinuating that they have outsized control. That such a small amount of us in the first place. There's no way that we can have this much control. And a lot of the things that are said about us are just simply untrue, provably false.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. But I got to move it on, man. You
Well,
know
thank you for
how we
having
do it.
me. And real quick, if I know
Go
you're
ahead.
really gracious with letting people get in the last word, if you are in queue, get out. Get out. It's Society will take you back. We are mad with you right now. Some people might not ever forgive you, but society as a whole will forgive you. And the other direction, if you want to keep going in that rabbit hole, does not end well for you.
Fair
You
enough.
can reintegrate into society. It's possible.
All right, fair enough. And I will say I will respond to a couple things. First of all, in regards to the notion that J people control the media in the industries and all of that, and they're hurting people. It's very similar to the argument, being an African American, that I get when we talk about slavery and stuff like that. Only 1%, and this is a fact, only 1% of white people own slaves. So why are you blaming slavery on all white people? Well, how many of the J community owns a movie studio or owns a record company? It would be almost the same argument, which is why I keep using these things to bring them up as having synonyms or similarities to each other. If you want to blame the J community of controlling all these industries and using their power for evil, you could say the exact same thing about Washington politics being predominantly controlled by white males. It's not even Washington politics, in fact. It's statewide politics and down onto most cities in America. I would probably submit to you that probably 90% of U.S. mayors, when you look at all the different towns, they're all white males. The overwhelming majority of mayors in this country are white males. And then, of course, governors and, of course, senators and all of that. It's white males. So if you want to talk about, well, this industry, this movie industry, this news industry is all controlled by J people, it's the same argument you could use in regards to politics. And when you look at how many politicians have been convicted of corruption that just happens to be white male, it's the same argument. It literally is the same argument. I just think that some folks would like to hear one side of it and not the other side. And I see folks in the audience. Spencer said it's a terrible comparison. Yeah, because there's validity to it. I would love to have you in here and have you explain to me why you disagree that throughout almost all of American history, that most of our politicians have not been white males. I would love to have you explain to me how that didn't happen, or how there has not been a substantial amount of corruption from our politicians towards gays, women, blacks, Hispanics, and all of that. It's the same shit. You want to say that the J people are using their control of these industries to put down artists, to put down actors, to stop folks. How does that not compare to Washington politics, where the folks did the exact same thing? I would love to have you in the box. You can tell me what I'm missing, what I'm getting wrong. Let me go on to Atlas International. I can't pronounce the last name. International Atlas. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, what's on your mind? You been listening to the program?
Yeah. Um,
What am I getting wrong?
I don't agree with everything on how Kanye's going about it. I don't. It's not all Jews, it's not everything.
Say J people. Say J people. This
All
app doesn't
JP,
like
all
it.
J people. I
Okay.
don't even think he's targeting J people, quote unquote, specifically.
What about the DEFCON 3 argument?
I Let me lay this out. What was that one thing, that grand conspiracy that turned out to be true with those two people that got just swept under the rug? With
Who were
all
the
the
two people?
children, with all the children and with that island.
You talking about Epstein?
Yeah.
What about it?
So there was a very big whole thing going around how he was connected to Mossad. And Mossad
Okay.
I think Kanye's targeting Mossad, not
Okay.
the Jewish
Well,
community,
now you're
not the
getting,
J community.
yeah, you could be right, but you're getting so deep in the waters. That's an interpretation that probably 90% of the people listening to Kanye would not make.
I'm not saying that 90% of people that are agreeing with him are looking for that. I'm saying that Kanye has access to behind more private rooms, private access. He might have seen something that's going on that's saying, hey, how am I going to target something that even our own government fears? Remember the whole Israel-Palestine thing? And we can't even have our divided government agree on something, but we agree on sending 80-something billion dollars to Israel?
Okay. So I'm lost here. The man sells shoes and rap songs. You're talking about Mossad, which
He
is,
see
I
he
know who
sees it
Mossad is.
he
Go ahead.
sees it as a spiritual war. He sees it as, quote unquote, people that are using Christianity or Judaism or so on and so forth, religion, and hiding behind that fact of, oh, they're good and they're gracious and
And
whatever, and
if
using
he's
that
doing
notion.
what you're talking about, if he believes people are using religion to hide behind committing acts of nefarious activities, why didn't he bring up the Catholics? You want to talk about Epstein? The Catholic religion has hundreds of Epsteins in it. So if you want to point that shit out, why are you starting now? I
I
mean, throughout American history, the Catholic religion has been processing Epsteins like burgers at McDonald's.
You're right, but who holds the thumb over the government?
Some would say the
Mossad.
Catholic religion.
Who does the Catholics fear? Who are the chosen ones in the only Christians seem to be understanding this. Christians have always stated, when you're told from a little kid, you're like, you do not mess with the Israel people. They are the chosen ones. They're the
You okay?
chosen ones.
Listen. Even if what you're saying is 100% true, Kanye got to be a hell of a lot more in depth with his statements. You're getting way more out of this than most people. Even if what you're saying is true, Kanye West made a few short sentences. There's no way most people are going to hear them sentences like I'm going DEFCON 3 and go to these levels you're going to. You're processing the hell out of this. I would submit that you're adding things to it that he probably don't even know.
Okay, well, do you think that he's, let's say you were in Kanye in that position and you were trying to expose that, and you knew you were going to be killed if you directly exposed that, how would you create some
I'd
type of
hire somebody.
reasoning to
I
look
would
in that?
I would hire somebody to do it for me.
So you would admire Kanye if he just came out and said it and then died, instead of using leverage and positioning in the way of saying, hey, maybe I am hated for this certain amount of time, but let me see if I can open up the eyes that of people that may look into this further. I'm
You're
not
not going to
saying
open up.
everything he
You're
said
not
is
going to open
correct.
up any eyes. You're not going to open up any eyes with this. To me, it's. You're talking about a guy who's worth billions of dollars, saying that the people who helped me make billions of dollars are corrupt. First thing people are going to say was, "Shit, I made 40,000. I want some of that corruptness." He is the wrong messenger. That's the first thing. Let me see an unemployed person saying that I tried to get a job and this J person prevented me from getting. Thank you for that cornstarch. That's like what you see what African Americans are complaining about with white folks. I was just trying to walk home from work and they pulled me over and beat the shit out of me. I'm not worth $4 billion. The problem is he is the wrong messenger, even if what he's saying is true. It's like when you see Prince or Deion Sanders or some of these people complaining that they're a slave. You can't be telling me you know what it's like to have a knee on your neck when you're worth more money than 99.9% of the people on the planet. He's the wrong messenger for this shit.
Okay, yeah, I agree that that statement is not correct. Like, it's totally off-putting, and it's you're right. I too agree with majority of what people say. The anti-Semitism, all that stuff is not okay.
Okay. Do you believe what Kanye West said was anti-Semitic?
It is anti-Semitic.
Okay. All right, then I don't think we're necessarily disagreeing from that standpoint. Is that and when we say anti-Semitic, that means he's making it sound like J people are all corrupt. He's not pointing out. Listen, if you got a bad agent that happens to be a J person, you can point out that David Goldstein ripped me off. You can, just like black people who I use this all the time. There are black. Were pointing out that Don King in the 70s and 80s were ripping heavyweight boxers who Don King them off. They didn't say I'm going DEFCON 3 on black people. They pointed out who did it. What Kanye West is doing by showing a list of all of these J people that run industries is making it sound like all J people in positions of power are corrupt. And that's where I would say that what he said was wrong. Appreciate that, whatever the hell that was. But you get what I'm saying?
I see.
Yeah. Okay, and that's all he had to do. If you just name names, if you think somebody out there is ripping you off, just say their name. You don't need to say a whole religion of people. And for that reason there, yeah, he deserves what's coming down the pike to him. But I got to move it on. I'll give you the last word, Atlas.
Okay, thank you. No, I totally agree with you. Name names. All right.
Yeah. And that's all you can't go wrong when you name names, because then when people say what you're talking about is bullshit, you could actually prove it. But proving that all J people in positions of authority are corrupt, he could never do that. Catch you on the next one. Okay. Comments. Then don't say Trump coat. I don't say that, Patriot Rep, and you're right about that. When folks say that all Trump, all MAGA, my beloved MAGA folks, and by the way, listen, on this program, my preferred audience is MAGA. So I don't say that shit. But I agree that grouping all MAGA or all Trump folks into coats is wrong, because Liz Cheney 2 years ago would have been considered MAGA. I mean, she voted with Trump 90+% of the time. So clearly she was not in the cult. She saw something she didn't like about Trump and she got the hell out. So she's not cult-like. So no, I don't believe all MAGA are cult-like, and I don't believe they're all racist. But at the same time, all Democrats are not socialists either. So I'm just going to say that if you don't want to be grouped up, don't group others up. Because I'll say it every time, if you are a Republican and you debate with liberals, it is only a matter of time before somebody calls you a racist. And if you are a liberal and you debate with Republicans, there's only a matter of time before somebody calls you a socialist. Because those are two words, if you can stick to someone, it greatly harms them, particularly a candidate. But they throw them around willy-nilly without any sort of realism to them. Anthony, 6195. Cheney has a tiny bit of integrity. Trumplicans have zero. Appreciate that. Thanks for that heart. Anthony, good afternoon.
What up, boss man? Hold on.
Okay.
I want to see you. I want to see you today. Yeah, I want to see you.
Do you have a knee on your neck? Do you have a knee on your neck right now?
Man, yeah, because I'm at work.
But no. In regards to having a knee on your neck at work, what is the phrase? I can't leave. I can't leave.
I can't go. I gotta go. I gotta be here.
All right, we both going to hell. What's on your mind?
Sick of 50% of this country. And when I say that, because it's half. It's definitely half. You made the comment the other day that stuck. You got 50% of this country is Republican. 50% of this country is Democrat.
That's
And
independent,
no,
baby.
well,
That's
not
independence.
not 50, but I say half and half. Like the 40 is 45 is,
Okay. All right.
yeah, you know
Okay.
what I mean. The
I
the
get
the smart people are what make up the rest of the country. As
you.
far
Okay.
as where we lean.
All right.
You know what I mean? You got
All right.
people
What's
that
so much
are
important?
in this thing with Kanye West. This thing with Kanye West, like I always tell you, is financial. And nobody can Trump like Trump. Nobody can Trump like Trump. And what he thought is that he could. He thought that he had pulled off enough status that he'd have hugged Trump. I told you it all started because he was in his feelings
You
from the
said
start.
you don't hug Trump like the power
Yeah,
just rubs off on
come
you.
on, man. He thought that he could pull off a Trump. And what we're all noticing and what we're all realizing and what a lot of other people are realizing, that there's only one Trump. There's
You
only
know,
one person.
that is very, sometimes I always say some comments are what I refer to as a home run. I agree with that 1,000%. I've said that before, that Trump is like a Teflon Don. He survives all sorts of shit that people around him are destroyed, like Giuliani and folks like that have their whole careers destroyed, thinking that they're him. And I could totally see that, where Kanye West believed that he was high enough up that he could pull off a Trump and not realize, yeah, you're right, you're not Trump. There's only one of that guy. I agree with that.
He keeps saying, if you listen to him apologize, he keeps saying, and look, you got to listen to him. I was the richest black man. I was the.
Yep.
He
Yep, he
thought
does
that
say that.
he thought he had made enough. He thought that he was successful enough. He thought that he was tied in enough to the MAGA crowd, who is not the majority. Y'all are not the majority. You're the loudest. He thought that he was plugged in enough that he could say what he wanted. He wanted to be the first black man to be able to say whatever he wanted. But what he doesn't realize is he's not. He's not.
I don't
Because
even think
think about
I don't even think I don't even think Obama could have got away with saying some of the stuff he said. Somebody earlier in my comment section was talking about MAGA cults, and I will say this in regards to the cult. To be able to get away with saying anything you want and to become a Teflon Don, you do need some cult-like support. And that's the problem with somebody like Kanye or other folks who thought they could be Trump. You don't have supporters that are that strong. Whereas he said, I could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue, my supporters would go nowhere. Kanye doesn't have that type of crowd. And neither does Giuliani or any of them other folks. So unless you got partners that are down like that, partners that are going to do a bid for you no matter what, you can't do that shit. You can't be him. Your people are snitches. His partners are ride or die. So Colt, whatever you would call it, but MAGA is ride or die. Kanye don't have ride or die like that, and that's why he ended up paying the
but see
price.
what see people don't realize is when you say MAGA, it's literally one person. It's literally one
Yeah,
person.
MAGA
You
is a
you
MAGA is a
can jump.
movement that follows one person. It's not based on a principle. It's based on one person. You're right. If Trump dies, for the most part, MAGA fades away. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I've said that before in the program, that there is a difference between Republicans and MAGA. MAGA is based on Trump. Republicans are based on the tenets of the
Exactly.
Republican Party. I agree with all that. We're not
E-
disagreeing on anything.
Everybody else, everybody else is just riding his wave. Everybody else. And
Yeah.
when you ride a wave and you don't create the wave, at any point in time, you can be dumped.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm talking like General, yeah, Petraeus, General, what was his name? Can't think of the other Mad Dog.
Everybody,
Yeah, you're right. If you
everybody.
don't, yeah.
The thing with the J people, I'm gonna tell this to my people and whoever else is ignorant enough to think that control is in the power of one group of people. This is a small amount of people who have spent the last generation focused on, concentrating on education and money. Education and money. Other races, other ethnic groups, other people have spent the last couple of generations concentrating on other things, whether it's for the good or the bad. We've concentrated on other things. So when I say that these, not only that, but they were given a hand up, not only by Germany, not only by America, not only by Europe, but the world. So when you get a leg from the world and your concentration and your focus is on you, your education, and your people. No one circles the wagons like these people do.
Yeah, they're good at it. They're good at it. All right, man. Well, you know how we
When
do,
your
Anthony.
focus, when
Go
your
ahead.
focus is concentrating on you and your people, when your focus is on concentrating on you and your people, you can reach the levels of success they have also. And I'm out.
All right. Good talk. Good talk. I got a lot of sun that's coming through here, so you guys will see I'm probably getting a little hazy looking, and I cannot re-aim my shit. The sun's coming through. Anyway, fuck what I look like. Going into the box, I wanted to respond to Proud American Randy. Like the name, nothing wrong with being a proud American. Proud Americans are always welcome here on the program. But you and many other folks are saying that my statement about MAGA being different from the Republican Party is wrong because you're saying your quote is, it's more than just Trump. It's what the American people want is MAGA. So MAGA is not about Trump. It's about what the American people want. I would submit to you that's incorrect. I don't believe the American people wanted Kim Jong-un to come to the White House. I don't believe the American people wanted to fight with the NRA, ban bump stocks. Trump has done a lot of things that are not what the American people want. And that's what I'm telling you is that if you are MAGA, it doesn't matter what you believed in before Trump came to power. Once he is in power, and if you believe he is the chosen one to get the job done, whatever he says is the path we need to take is likely going to resonate with you, and you're going to follow him down that path, even if it's 180 degrees of what you used to believe in, such as electing John McCain to be the Republican nominee for president, electing Mitt Romney to be the Republican nominee for president. Trump has convinced you that these people are not even worthy of being in the party. Same thing with, I mentioned General Mad Dog Mattis, General Petraeus. He's convinced you of all your heroes, a lot of your heroes are not even worthy of being heroes. People that you would have voted to the highest levels of office. The Republican Party, however, still likes these people. It's MAGA. That's why I keep telling you there is a difference. The Republicans still overwhelmingly support those people and acknowledge the things that they have contributed to America. And I'm talking about the ones that are dead and alive, like John McCain is dead and Mitt Romney is alive, and some of those are alive. Jeb Bush is another one. But MAGA, who was totally in favor of electing these people to the highest office of the land, talking about John McCain, Mitt Romney, and Jeb Bush was going to be your guy before Trump came along. Totally fine with these people. These people got a lengthy period of time in Republican politics, well respected. Trump came along and certainly all their reputations were ruined. That's MAGA. That is the power of MAGA. That's not something that all Americans want. That's something that Trump convinced you. Because as I stated, before Trump was around, you were willing to give these people the highest job in the land. All of a sudden now he pops up and they're not even worthy of being in the party again. That's not something all Americans want. That's a MAGA conversion. Looking in the comments real quick, John McCain left his people for dead. RWP. Did he leave his people for dead before or after Republicans nominated him to become president? You're bringing up something that happened before his entire political career. Did Trump just wake you up to that? You're talking about something that happened in the Vietnam War. All of the years that guy was a senator, the fact that the Republicans were going to nominate him for president, the only thing stopping him was Obama. You want to ignore and go all the way back to Vietnam? What does that say about the Republican Party then? If you want to criticize him for what he did in Vietnam, how do you explain the Republican Party nominating him over and over and over again for Senate and then the Republican nominee for president? Anyway, I'm tired of career politicians on both sides not doing a damn thing for the American people. Monks 0308. I don't know if I would agree with you in attacking all career politicians. One of the things I often point out is the way that Republicans under MAGA has mistreated what I refer to as some valuable Republicans. Number one, even Mitch McConnell was a rhino. This guy has had a lifelong commitment to the Republican Party. Not only did he have a lifelong commitment to the Republican Party, look at all the shit he did for Trump himself. He stopped Obama from appointing a Supreme Court justice, allowing Trump to appoint 3 of them. And then he also helped Trump appoint a Supreme Court justice by reversing the same rules used to prevent Obama from appointing a Supreme Court justice. Mitch McConnell did all of that. He stopped Trump from being impeached. Mitch McConnell did that. The only reason we don't like Mitch McConnell talking about MAGA is because he didn't call the election the right way. It's a classic example of Janet Jackson's "What Have You Done For Me Lately?" All of that shit that Mitch McConnell was doing for Trump disappears when he doesn't do the final thing. Same thing with Attorney General Barr. He too played in Trump not being impeached. But because he didn't call the election the right way, he's suddenly a rhino. That's the difference between Republicans and MAGA. It shouldn't be that easy to destroy your entire career like that. And I'm talking to you from a liberal side of the aisle. If you've committed your entire life of service to a party, but you disagree with the current leader, the current commander-in-chief on one issue, that shouldn't destroy your entire reputation. But with MAGA, it does. I mean, he said that General Mattis was the most overrated general in U.S. history toward the end of his career. And a lot of MAGA bought that. All the wars, all of the commands, all of the soldiers that put their lives on the line under this guy, and it was that easy to get. He should have been booed off stage for saying something like that. That is about as disrespectful to the military as taking 1,000 knees before the anthem. Yet for some reason that was acceptable. You can clearly see taking a knee when the anthem is playing is wrong, but this guy gets up there and says that General Mattis is the most overrated general in U.S. history without providing any proof, by the way. No proof at all. What did Mattis do to make him overrated? How many soldiers put their lives on the line following this guy into war zones? And no one held him accountable for saying that he's the most overrated general in U.S. history. That's the difference between Republicans and MAGA. Because Republicans didn't agree with that. Conservatives did not agree with that statement. And they held Trump accountable by criticizing him for it. Even on Fox News, you had conservatives like, he's wrong for that. But MAGA didn't do anything about it. And this is after dragging General Mattis on stage at rallies saying that he was a great general, actually bragging about how great he was. One spat, one criticism, and now he's overrated. That's all I'm saying is that. You have to be able to call this shit on both sides. If you want to point out some shit about Joe Biden, I'm always happy to talk about that. Joe Biden is not perfect. And you'll never hear me on this program say that. I don't blame the economy on globalism. I'm willing to point out that shit is happening under his watch. I blame him for stuff too. But this is what folks are talking about when we separate MAGA versus Republican and why people are throwing cult around. You don't see me throwing the word cult around, but I do believe people should be held accountable no matter what side of the aisle they're on. And when this guy can bring a general on stage and say he's great, he's the guy we need, and then next week say he's overrated, Wouldn't you ask him, well, why didn't you know that last week when you were bringing him to the rally? What made him change from last week to now? That's all I'm asking. Anyhow, folks, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I am on lunch break, 7 p.m. Central. We will be on here tonight. Red wave is looking more and more likely by the day. I'm a liberal. What can I say? But a red wave, looking at all of the polls, even on CNN, MSNBC, it looks like the pro-life argument, the rolling back of Roe versus Wade, has taken a backseat to the economy, inflation, and in some areas even crime. Now, crime is an interesting one because I don't know what Herschel Walker, for instance, is going to do about crime in Atlanta. I don't know what a senator is going to do about crime. I don't know. I think that some cases you can pin some shit on somebody that at the end of the day they're not going to be the change. What will end up happening is the Republican senators that win in states with high crime areas will just go back to doing what we were doing before the Democrats got elected. Blame it on liberal mayors. In other words, I'm not going to change any damn thing. You elected me on this issue, but now that I'm in, I'm going to blame it on the liberal mayor of that town. That's what's going to end up happening because that's the ones that are responsible for dealing with crime. It's not a senator. It's not a congressperson. They're just using that to get elected. Guys, talk to you later. See you at 7 p.m. tonight. Stay politically involved, and I will catch you then. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I'm out.